Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I will be answering why I believe narcissists cannot control their behavior, specifically when it comes to being evil or hurting people. It is something I mentioned in this video, and I got a few comments asking me why this is so, and a few others of people stating that they do think narcissists have a choice and they just choose to do harm instead of good. Well, it all begins in the mind of the narcissist, and whether you believe they are possessed by a demonic force or it is a mental illness, one thing is certain, is that the mind of the narcissist operates very differently to someone who has empathy. So the choices that we may consider when it comes to choosing between what is right and what is wrong, it is not the same for narcissists. For example, when someone hurts us or offends us, we can choose between forgiving them and giving them another chance, or being more difficult and choose to hold on to these grudges and make them pay. Whereas narcissists never forgive. That option is never considered. Of course, they know what to say in order to give others the impression that they are reasonable. So they tell people what they want to hear, such as they have forgiven and have moved on, when in truth, they haven't and do not intend to. The options presented to a narcissist when someone has offended them or hurt them is how to punish them. The choices are rather which punishment is best, but the option of letting go is never considered. This is because narcissists are hardwired in a particular way. Things that will cross our minds will not cross theirs, and vice versa. Despite all appearances, the mind of a narcissist is a dark and miserable place. They are constantly fed negative thoughts. They are deluded into thinking that everyone has an agenda, that others want to screw them over, that others want to hurt them, that everyone is pretending to be good and kind, that others are just as fake and twisted as they are, and that it is just a matter of who can play each other better and win at all costs. Narcissists are driven by fear, and it is that fear that keeps them from being honest, loving, at peace, and generally happy. The fear that narcissists live with keeps them in a state of paranoia. Paranoia is a mental condition characterized by delusions of persecution, unwarranted jealousy, or exaggerated self-importance. I think this definition sums narcissists up quite well. But this paranoia is what keeps them bound and limited in their view and responses. The paranoia is like a dark cloud that clogs their brain, and it's all brought on by the dark force that is behind the narcissist. The darkness not only consumes, but it controls them. It controls their mind, their thoughts, and therefore narcissists do not stand a chance when it comes to choosing the right when dealing with others. Their choices will always be self-centered, inconsiderate, and bound to bring hurt. Their public appearance of being the opposite of who they really are and what they really want is all a show. But it is a show that they think everyone is a part of. And although they meet authentic people here and there who have proven not to be fake or playing this game, the narcissist would quicker think that that person is defective and not in touch with reality. Everything begins in the mind, and if your mind is fearful, negative, and miserable, that affects how you view people and life. Everyone does have choices, but everyone's choices are different. For some people, some things are not even a choice. It is just a way of life. a necessity, a means of survival. And this is the case with narcissists. Hurting people is not a choice, it is a necessity. And that is why I say they cannot help themselves. They cannot control their behavior or their responses to certain things. For them, there is no other choice but to have a fake image and persona. There is no other choice but to lie and deceive every chance they get. There is no other choice but to manipulate, gaslight, and abuse. Narcissists are driven by what makes them happy, and unfortunately, living a lie and causing hurt and confusion is what delights them and brings a bit of satisfaction. Their view of life and people will keep them on this path of deception and destruction. Narcissists are creatures of habit. They are the type of people who will struggle to change their ways until they can change their mindset and get rid of the darkness that has a hold of their mind and their emotions. Their minds are constantly racing, never at peace, constantly plotting, strategizing, how to manipulate, how to control, how to win. It is hard to get truth and light into a mind that is completely overrun and never still. As a result, narcissists are like robots who have been programmed to do and say certain things and respond in certain ways. For them, being good is something you pretend to be for the world's stage. But the choices made are always in their best interest, and no consideration is given to others. Their secret mission is always to steal, kill, and destroy. And that is why the choices they make will always reflect that at the end of the day, because that is what they have been programmed to do. That is how they think they will win. We can sit on our empathy and judge people and situations fairly, but narcissists can't. Narcissists have a one-track mind, which leads to them always coming out on top with a trail of broken hearts and bodies behind them. And that is why, for those of us who have experienced narcissistic abuse, we hold to the mantra of no contact, zero contact, because we know what these people are capable of. You cannot sit around hoping that one day the narcissist will make the right choice concerning you, because unless the narcissist has a heart change, they will not. A choice is the act of choosing between two or more possibilities. For narcissists, certain things are just not possible to them, and therefore they are not an option. Having choices is kind of like having certain privileges. And where there is a lack of something, there is also a lack of certain privileges. A narcissist's lack of empathy means they have lost the privilege to make certain choices that are beneficial for all concerned. And that is why they will never love you, but are guaranteed to hurt you. As usual, I hope you all found this beneficial. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below.